jokester. Like, they're all
Right.
just kind of, like, miserable.
They are one band, and yeah, they are very miserable. But they're different types of miserable.
They are, but it's just...
different flavors of misery.
It's not enough to entice me into being like, I like this character. I want to see what happens to them.
Well, hello, puppers. We finally finished Trials of Mana.
Boom.
So now we have another RPG. This is The Last Story. This is an RPG for the Wii, made by the creator of Final Fantasy. And about a year ago, I introduced it to you. And
Wow,
didn't
already,
really
It's already been a
click.
year.
It's been exactly a year.
Oh.
Well, a couple months past a year.
Yeah.
It was last March, because I still have, like, the screen cap.
Oh, okay.
So it was, like, last March, you played The Last Story, and you were a little...
Well, I got like 5 hours in, and I was just like, eh.
Yeah. And I mean, that's fine. If you give 5 hours to an RPG and it's not picking up, I'd say, hey, move on to something else.
Yeah. But for me, I have an issue with menu screens.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if the menu screen is too confusing, or I cannot navigate a menu screen, I tend to not use it.
Okay.
And I feel like this is a type of game you need to use your stuff.
Yeah. This was one of 3 RPGs for the Wii that were stuck in Japan for a while, and actually took a petition called Operation Rainfall for people to be like, hey, we want these RPGs, we want them over to the West, to bring them over. It was The Last Story, Pandora's Tower, and Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh.
And of those 3, Xenoblade Chronicles was like the biggest hit.
Yeah.
So much so that it got sequels.
Yeah.
Like they just announced, no, not announced, they confirmed that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is coming out September, I believe.
Oh, wow.
I think so,
Okay.
yeah. So like it's right around the corner already. Whereas The Last Story, it was kind of like its own thing.
Yeah.
And personally, I like The Last Story a lot more than later Final Fantasies. Like, after this creator left Final Fantasy, I followed the creator and
Yeah.
tended to still like his work, whereas the newer Final Fantasies, it's just lacking his touch, and they don't do it for me anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wonder if it was just a mix of things, like the controller having, like, 2 and needing to, like...
Well, that's a very common, like, Wii setup. So, like, the
Yeah.
nunchuck for, like, movement, and the Wii mode for either motion or button inputs.
Yeah, and it, like, my hands don't do that.
But I wouldn't even say it's just that, because there's a lot of Wii games that, like, implement those, but do it in a simple way, like Mario Galaxy, Twilight Princess. This game has a lot of features, and a lot of things that you're doing to make combat engaging, but it can come off as very complex.
See, there was a big thing that happens later on that, like, I feel like I liked, but I also didn't like,
Okay.
where your buttons were shared.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, press A could mean this, like, move from an obstacle or emerge from a corner. But later on, it also means, like, stab.
Okay.
So it's just, like, it depends on the situation you're in, and it automatically does it.
Oh, okay. Because I believe what you're referring to are, like, context sensitive.
Yeah.
So, like, depending on, like, where you are
It can
with an
do multiple
environment, it can
things.
do different things.
And it's like, I don't know if I like that more or less.
Okay.
Because it's just like, then I just tend to hit one button. Because I'm like, well, this will do something.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, right now we're going through the tutorial.
Yeah.
And, like, it's an action RPG, so it's not turn-based. But also there's a lot of moments where everyone's talking, and all of a sudden, like, the battle's done. It's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I won.
And I'm not, like, necessarily a huge fan of that. Where it, like, stops halfway through something to, like, pull up what you should do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of me would almost rather have all of this, like, in the beginning, get it done, get it over with, and then...
That feels like too much reading. Like a barrage of information, and, like, only some of it.
Yeah. But I feel like this hurts the pace.
Okay.
Because it doesn't stop doing this just in the beginning. It's like every single fight.
That's very
like,
common in a lot of modern RPGs, teaching you new things. I think the best way to do it is what Dark Souls does in Trials of Mana continues. It's like during the loading screens,
Yeah.
hey, here's a tip.
Yeah.
I think like
I like that. And
that is
I
genius
also,
design that Dark Souls pioneered, that Breath of the Wild implemented as well.
But I also like, I think it's Miyamoto implements where it'll come up like at the bottom of the screen, or like a helper character will tell you. And you do it in a safe place where it's not going to hurt you too much. And then you put it into like an actual dangerous situation in the game.
Oh, okay.
So because then it just feels like you're not like, okay, play, stop, read. All right, get back in, play. Stop, read.
Okay.
Okay, play. Like,
no, I could understand that. Definitely. Keep in mind, like, I was attached to this because this was like the 12th Final Fantasy game I've played. This was the game that I was attached to after Final Fantasy 12, that I preferred over Final Fantasy 12, the real Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah.
Whereas you've only been playing games for like, what, 2 to 3 years?
Yeah.
So, like, this is something that's, like, definitely new for you, whereas some of these features are new and the story's new, but I'm just kind of, like, back in the saddle again.
Yeah. Whereas, like, I don't know. I think it's, like, I have...
But, like, I will say, like, it has a lot of features that, like, you have to keep an eye on. There's combat, there's sniping, there's strategy, there's
all these things that you can do with such a limited number of buttons.
Okay. So you actually wouldn't mind if there were like more buttons to where like this button to crouch, this button to block, this button to snipe.
Maybe, but not too many. I kind of like it when there's like combo buttons. So it's like A is run, B is like slide. But if you press A and B together, it's like
a running slide.
Yeah, like a run slide.
Okay.
So something like that where it's like, okay, I know I have to press A to run.
Okay.
But if I press A while I'm, like, attacking, I will, like, dash attack or something.
Gotcha.
Versus, like, a button for every single thing or one button that does it all.
Now, these tutorials, I believe, are optional, though. You either hit the prompt or you ignore them and they go on to the next.
But it's still a fact that they stop the game.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that's fair.
And I think it was also, like... camera movement. I'm not very good at camera movement.
Oh, okay. So you weren't fond of the camera here?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it was way better than Alice.
Well, yeah.
Way better.
It's like a decade in between this and Alice.
But not as good as, like, Trials of Mana or Ys.
Okay. Gotcha. There we go. Leveling up. So this is Zale. He's the actual main character.
Yeah.
We were playing as Dagran before. He was just the tutorial guy. And he has a very important role to play in this story as well. But Zale is our protagonist.
Yeah. And I think, like, getting started... because I feel like from what you've said, what Phil has said, reviews and such that I've looked at minimally, I feel like I'm going to like it in the end.
Okay.
I don't think I liked playing
it. Okay. All right, then. Well, we got a big boy here. So let's combine our powers and see what we can do. I'm going to take out the little mooks first, of course. But at the time of this recording, you actually haven't played a traditional Final Fantasy yet.
No, I have not.
I wonder how you'd feel about those. Because, like, with the exception of, like, a lot of the newer ones, like, Final Fantasy is, like, your traditional turn-based experience.
Okay.
And you've said a couple times that you prefer turn-based over, like, kind of, like, action-oriented.
I don't know. I think it depends.
Okay.
Because I really, really liked the turn-based and, like, Child of Light. Because it gave me time to, like, almost strategize. But I also really love the battles in, like, in Ys, which are action battles. So it's like, I think it just depends.
Okay. Now, how do you feel about the graphics here? Kind of like Trials of Mana and Ys have, like, that kind of anime look, whereas this is kind of like a pseudo-realism.
Meh. I feel like this is not gonna age well.
Okay. Yes, cell shading does age better than games that look like this. This has been proven with Wind Waker. When Wind Waker was first released, people were just like, oh, that looks so kiddie.
That, and it's
And
like,
oddly
this-
enough, it's aged the best out of all the Zelda games.
this reminds
Zelda's prior
me,
and after.
Yeah, this reminds me of like people that do kind of like a mashup of anime realism,
Okay.
where it's like they don't have like the big head and like little tiny necks and bodies, like they're proportioned right, but they still have anime features.
Okay.
So like their eyes are still very anime, their hair is still very anime, like. So it's I think it's like it's a nice mashup. I think the graphics look nice.
Okay.
But I don't think it's gonna age as well as the other ones.
Gotcha. Now, do you think it's because like this is a standard def game, or do you think that doesn't really make a difference?
I don't think that really makes a difference.
Okay. Like
From
if,
what
if
I've
this was like an
noticed-
HD remake or something, do you think that would make a difference?
No, because eventually that will age too.
Good point.
You know, because think about it. Like it used to be, oh, regular definition, and then high def comes along, and people are like, oh my god, high def is so great. It's so much better than like regular. And now we have ultra 4K.
Yeah.
Oh my god, ultra 4K is so much better than high def. Okay, well, what's gonna come next? So I feel like it doesn't really matter if they remade it. I think it's just the style. The style is what's going to age.
Yeah, we also got a little bit of strategy here. Yeah. So before like most of our missions, you're going to actually be able to like pan around the battlefield and plan your route. So like you can see all the enemies and it's just like, all right, well, we got a sorcerer, we got a healer, and like Dagran's giving me orders like, all right, if we can take out the healer first, we can flank them and destroy all the enemies. So it's not just a traditional RPG. There's also some strategy in here as well.
I'm also wondering if that's why I didn't have as much fun, because I'm terrible at strategizing.
That's fair. It feels like this game's trying to be like a jack of all trades, but a master of none, if I'm going to be honest. Because like we have aspects of a shooter, we have aspects of your traditional RPG, a strategy game, an adventure game.
Which I can see. I can definitely
Heavily
see
story-driven.
I can definitely see the likability in that, though.
Yeah.
Like, because that's how I felt about Paper Mario Origami King, was like it had a little bit of everything in it. And I really, really liked it.
Okay.
But for me, the story didn't capture me.
Okay.
Like 5 hours in, I still had way too many questions. I didn't like the characters. Like I didn't get attached to any of the characters.
And we'll address around the point where you petered out.
Yeah.
Because we got a ways to go.
Because even though it was 5 hours in for me,
yeah,
it's not like actually 5 hours into the game if you play it like a normal person.
I mean, it was close. Because, like, I know exactly where you petered out. And,
Yeah.
like,
Because
it's still a couple videos in.
Yeah, you even said it's like right before the actual story takes off. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, if it takes that long, I don't know if I'm going to like it.
And that's very common.
You know, I give things a lot of time to capture me. And if it doesn't by a certain point, I'm like, all right, I'm wasting my time.
Yeah.
On something that I'm not going to like.
Oddly enough, I'm like that more with, like, movies or television shows than video games.
Yeah. See, movies, I tend to, like, at least finish the movie. Just because it's, like, at most 2 hours.
Right.
TV shows, I do that a lot with. I'll, like, peter out and stop watching them. Books. If I'm not, like, captured by, like, halfway through the book, I'm like, all right, I'm wasting my time here.
Well, I get it. Also, this is a very chatty game.
Yeah.
They're talking not just in cutscenes, but throughout battle and like as you're just walking through.
Yeah.
And it builds character.
Kinda.
Any luck? I can see light.
It also it's better than Scooby-Doo to where like you get the use out of your voice actors.
Yeah, but you
can
stop.
still move and fight while they're chatting.
Right.
So that's nice.
That is nice.
The Tales of series has evolved to that, to where like there used to be like skits that you could do where they'd talk outside of the cutscenes, but now they talk during battle.
Yeah.
They just like chatter while you're roaming the overworld.
I think it makes it more, in a way, more realistic. Like people aren't going to be silent as they're traveling and only talk like
a dead end.
I think it also gives you a sense of personality, because while you're walking, if someone's being like, "Whew, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Got anything to eat?"
Yeah.
Shut up, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Or wow, look at that.
Whereas,
hey,
like,
what's over there?
I think this.
Because Yeast does that. Ooh, there's something there.
Yeah. Where they have like their lines and stuff. I think though what I dislike about that in here is there's no like
getting all scared because he's not
Okay,
here to
Wes.
protect you.
There's no like difference in characters. It's kind of like the same thing with Ray and the Last Dragon. Like they all feel very samey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was that?
Like you don't have like the goody two shoes and then the like the rogue and then the jokester. Like they're all
Right.
just kind of like miserable.
They are one band, and yeah, they are very miserable. But they're different types of miserable.
They are, but it's just
Different flavors of misery.
It's not enough to entice me into being like, I like this character. I want to see what happens to them.
Okay.
Like the only character that I cared about at all by the time I got to where I stopped was Zale, and that's because I was playing as Zale.
Gotcha.
Where it's like, okay, I don't know anything about these other characters other than they're a bunch of miserable pieces of shit. Like,
Well, alrighty then.
What the hell are you doing?
Well, let's see if we can get you to.
yeah, and that's the thing
Change
is
when
like
the
I
characters
do
change.
understand characters will grow and develop.
Mm-hmm.
I just was spending a whole lot of time.
It's okay. You don't have to play anymore. We're gonna
Yeah,
experience
I'm
this,
gonna watch it.
and we're gonna see how this goes. If you're gonna like it more, or if you're gonna dislike it more.
See, and that's the thing. I feel like it's gonna be a lot like Partners in Time, because if you remember in Partners in Time, like we were like halfway through the game, and I was just like, I'm just like, you know, it's kind of like weird and gross. Like I don't know, I just don't really care all that much. But by the end, I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. Like
Poor Luigi.
you know, it definitely grew on me.
Okay.
The more that I experienced it. So I feel like this might be similar, where it's just like the more I experience it, the more I like it. But
Oh, he's gonna take a shot. This also reminds me of Ray and the Last Dragon.
take a shot. It happens so slowly.
It's slowed down for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
And I guess all the other skeletons are just watching.
I know, they're
Standing
like,
watch this
all
like,
right, we'll give you a minute.
Oh, he shot one. Should we give the other one a minute to react here?
Yeah. Yeah, because you have like this nice little flashback of, well, not nice, but like this flashback that like gives you more information about Zale, and that's the only character you ever seem to get more information about is Zale. So he's like the only one that I even gave a shit about.
To be fair, it gradually goes one by one.
Okay.
So like it's gonna develop Zale, then it's gonna develop a character we meet in a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna gradually develop each of your party members.
Yeah,
through
I just
their
like,
own separate missions.
to me it took too long.
And Dagrin's the last.
Of course he is.
You guys should see the look I just got. Just like, what a big surprise.
Because he's like the leader of the whole gang, so why would we know anything about him? See, it's like that kind of stuff where I'm just like, so why are they all just following him blindly? Like, I don't want to wait until the end to find out why he's their leader. Like, that's going to hook me. That's going to make me want to follow them.
They kind of
Like-
hint at it early on, though. So,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Again, if you still have
pretty
questions,
dense.
I'll do my best to
Yeah.
explain.
I'm pretty dense.
Because
so.
I really like the narrative to this story. That being
Yeah.
said, out of the two that I played, I never played Pandora's Tower. I've
Okay.
heard good things. I should probably grab it on my Wii U before that shuts down, actually. Otherwise, I have to pay $90 for it.
Woof.
That being said, out of the two, I preferred Xenoblade Chronicles.
Okay.
I really did, for me personally. But I really enjoyed this game because it scratched that Final Fantasy itch that I was looking for at the time.
Okay.
Because, like, the Final Fantasies after the creator left, I'm just like, I'm not too fond of this. Like, they're too feature heavy, which, like, this is feature heavy, don't get me wrong, but, like, it's just like, Final Fantasy 12 has, like, a license board, and you have to, like, get permission to equip certain weapons and stuff like that. So you, like, unlock features that allows you to equip and learn spells. And it's just much.
Yeah.
Whereas this has a lot of features, but I like the gathering to where, like, okay, you don't have to use items. You can revive them by using the gathering and touching them. But 5 KOs and they're permadeath,
Yeah.
which is what they're going to teach us right now.
Yeah, and I think that's just another thing is, like, I didn't fully understand the lingo.
Okay. Because, like, this is
So, like,
gathering,
this-
and what it does is it attracts all the enemies to you, and you can also cure and revive fallen allies.
Yeah. Whereas I definitely don't think this is a like, hey, this is my top 5 first RPGs.
No. I was thinking narratively, and then while you were playing, I remembered how like feature heavy it was, and I was just like, whoops.
Yeah. So whereas like
This is definitely not baby's first RPG.
Yeah.
This is veteran's love letter RPG.
Because I think this was like my second RPG I tried to play
second or third, yeah.
after Child of Light, because Child of Light was the first one.
Trials of Mana.
I
So
didn't
it was
play Trials of Mana.
No. It was Child of Light, Trials of Mana, then the last story. What do you mean you didn't play Trials of Mana? You played as either Reese or Hawkeye.
I played it after you though.
Yes.
I didn't think I played that one before I started this one.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Because like this was only last year.
Yeah, I believe you. It gets jumbled.
This was either like shortly after you finished Link's Awakening or like right before.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember you were like, I just want you to play a game that like you really like, and we should play this one. I think you'll really like it.
No, that was after this. I was just like, man, you
did you
gotta
play a
find
game?
something you like. And then we found Yeez, and I was just like, touchdown!
Yeah, I really like Yeez.
You like it so much, you won't let me play it until you finish it.
At least,
I don't want you
at
to
least
play the
until I
ending.
get a little bit further. Like, I feel like I'm at a decent point ahead of you now that if you played for a few days, I would still be ahead of you unless you played for like 3 days, 8 hours a day.
Yeah, because you take long breaks.
I do take long breaks. The thing is, like, I'll play for like 6 or 7 hours,
Yeah.
and then I'll take like a few weeks.
Whereas I'll do like smaller increments,
Daily,
but more,
yeah.
every couple days.
So whereas like I can easily go 3 weeks without playing a game and then play it for 8 hours.
I got you.
But I also take longer in areas and get lost way easier. So my 8 hours of playtime is like 25 minutes of your playtime.
No, that's fair. All right, we got the Bridge of Khazad-dûm here. You can knock enemies off though.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. Hey, you! Get out of here!
Get out of here.
Oh, I thought I took care of him. Quit hitting me. I'm trying to take care of the snipers.
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
All right, so he's casting, so that's good. That's good. Shit. There we go. All right, he destroyed the bridge. But, like, there's options here. It's in a way set up like a choose your own adventure, to where like in battle you can be like, oh, I'll snipe off the skeleton archers, or I can have Yurik just blow the bridge.
Yeah.
Good. And there was one more.
Alas, poor York. I knew him well.
There we go. All right, Yurik, come on down. Where'd you come from?
He was hiding behind the pole.
Yeah, skeletons are very much like Castlevania. Like, sometimes they die,
And then
but other
they're
times
dead
they
for
reassemble.
Like, yeah, they're dead for like a minute and then they come back.
That's the red skeletons in Castlevania, actually.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a summoning circle. You can actually use gathering to summon more enemies. This is how you grind, because there's no random encounters here. Like, all the encounters are like story based.
Yeah.
But if you want to like grind to get more XP and
You
like,
can like just revive everyone
yep,
and do
you
it
can
again.
revive the enemies and do it again.
See, whereas I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay.
Like, if you have to give an option.
Again, it's just different. Doesn't mean it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Again, I can see how people would like it.
Mm-hmm.
These are all just reasons why I personally
Yeah.
don't care for it. That does not mean it's bad or that it's wrong or that it's trash or that it's garbage or it's too hard.
Even though she
Not
says
at all.
words like piece of shit. I do it too. I'll say things like,
I don't remember calling it a piece of shit.
no, not it a piece of shit. You called the characters a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
you didn't have any remorse in that
That's all.
response.
Again, because it's still all very much personal to me.
All right, all right.
So, I really like the aesthetic of this guy. He's got all like the crosses in his back.
Oh yeah, our
but,
big
like,
old boss monster.
I feel like if you have to have an option to do a battle again so that you can get enough XP to be successful at a battle, you're doing it wrong. Like,
okay.
again, I can see why people would like that. People like me would probably really like that, so you can over XP yourself so that you can actually stand a chance at winning. but I feel like there should be a different. I like it when it's done differently.
Okay.
When those battles happen naturally,
Gotcha.
or like they auto respawn.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to cast a summoning circle to do the battle again, so that I stand a chance at winning against the boss.
Okay.
Whereas
gotcha.
like if those skeletons like respawned or something, and I could just like keep battling them, but like the door behind me opens and I can go in at any time, but I can keep battling if I want to. I feel like for me that's a better pacing than let's do a
Okay.
summoning circle and do it again.
Alrighty then. No, I understand that. I think this is one of the few games that does that feature. Just,
Yeah.
honestly, I forget about it
And
sometimes.
I can definitely, like, I can 100% understand how that could be a very likable feature. Even something I could grow to like. Because then it's almost like it caters to players that play on, like, regular or hard, as well as players that play on easy. Because, like, to me, that's, like, your easy mode feature. Like, oh, you need more XP, so it's a little easier for you. Here's a summoning circle. Go ahead. Gain more EXP, and you'll be good.
Okay.
Whereas someone like you that doesn't want the respawn, that doesn't want to like over.
Not that I don't want it. I
Over-
forget about it
yeah.
sometimes.
Well, like, you don't
it was
necessarily
to a
need
detriment
to.
where like most of the game I didn't feel the need
Yeah.
to, and then near the end game I'm just like, wow,
Oh
these bosses
shoot!
are
Like yeah,
curb
I
stomping
need
me.
to like get
Was
more
I
EXP.
supposed to be grinding? Whoops.
So, but I feel like that's a decent way to cater to all parties, that you can be like, okay, well, you can either grind or you don't have to grind and just use your skill that you know from playing games.
Oh shit!
Oh, well, that's nice.
I've been impaled.
Oh, I've been impaled.
Okay, so I have 5 lives. A little similar to a cat.
9? Wow.
Nope, just 5. We thought 5 is the good number here. Daggeron wants me to lure it to the bridge. You shall not pass. I am the seeker of the sacred fire.
Oh, you mean the bridge we just blew up?
No. I blew up the neighboring bridges. This is the bridge that we crossed.
Oh, okay.
Now we're going to blow it up.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting because early on we were fighting it, but the boss actually caught on that we were aiming for his face, so he started covering his face. So that's when Daggeron's like, none of our hits are working. We'll lure it to the bridge. And like that's a cool thing about this game is like each of the bosses have their own gimmick, their own like specific strategy, and the bosses will adapt to your strategy throughout the battle, to where you have to switch mid-battle to be like, all right, that trick doesn't work anymore because it's now protecting that weak point.
Right.
We got to try something different. So like it allows more dynamic boss battles.
I think I just have a very arcade mindset,
That's very common.
which is interesting because I really like RPGs.
Yeah.
battered mercenaries looked up at the sky, and the sun shone
All right, so that was the end of that mission.
The sun shone down and greeted.
on the road to the city.
Whose voice was that back there? Sounded
I can't
so
remember.
real.
Is there a narrator?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Did she give me this power?
But we're going to learn the secret of this blue power. There's a lot of foreshadowing happening in here, which I catch on to now that I'm playing it again.
Can't believe I've gone all night without a drink.
All right, so we're going to save at this little save spot. And we got most of our rants and complaints out of the way in here.
Yeah.
I think going forward,
Like,
when
I
new story
am-
elements we'll give our 2
Yeah,
cents.
like I am
But-
definitely excited to
Yeah.
see what happens without having to play it.
But now that we've got our initial thoughts, let's see what happens in
Yes.
the last story.